The realization that no matter how far you rise in life, how hard you work to be a good person, a good parent, a good citizen, for some folks, it will never be enough. We've both felt the sting of those daily slights throughout our entire lives. The road ahead is not going to be easy. So there will be times when you feel like folks look right past you, or they see just a fraction of who you really are. They won't know how hard you worked and how much you sacrificed to make it to this day. The evenings you gave up to volunteer at a food bank or organize a campus fundraiser, they don't know that part of you. Instead, they will make assumptions about who they think you are based on their limited notion of the world. Those feelings are not an excuse to just throw up our hands and give up. Not an excuse. They are not an excuse to lose hope. To succumb to feelings of despair and anger only means that in the end, we lose. If you're willing to pick yourself up when you fall, if you're willing to work and work until your weaknesses become your strengths, then you'll develop a set of skills that you can mold and apply to any situation you encounter, any job you might have, any crisis you might confront. But you gotta make that choice. And you don't make excuses. You work hard, and you always finish what you start. The moments when you get knocked down and you're wondering whether it's even worth it to get back up. See, those are the times when you've got to ask yourself, who am I gonna be? Where are you gonna go? Not asking what are you gonna do, but who are you gonna be? I'm asking you about how you plan to live your life every day. How are you gonna respond when you don't get that job you had your heart set on? For all of you who are gonna be teachers, what are you gonna do if the students in your class next year just don't respond to your lessons? For all of you going into business, how will you react when your boss gives you a goal that feels way too high? See, these are the moments that define us. Not the day you get the promotion, not the day you win Teacher of the Year, but the times that force you to claw and scratch and fight just to get through the day. I realized that if I wanted to keep my sanity and not let others define me, there was only one thing I could do, and that was to have faith in God's plan for me. Because here's the truth. If you want to have a say in your community, if you truly want the power to control your own destiny, then you've got to be involved. You got to be at the table. I want you all to stay true to the most real, most sincere, most authentic parts of yourselves. I want you to ask those basic questions. Who do you want to be? What inspires you? How do you want to give back? And then I want you to take a deep breath and trust yourselves to chart your own course and make your mark on the world. Maybe it feels like you're supposed to go to law school, but what you really want to do is teach little kids. Maybe your parents are expecting you to come back home after you graduate, but you're feeling a pull to travel the world. I want you to listen to those thoughts. I want you to act with both your mind, but also your heart. And no matter what path you choose, I want you to make sure it's you choosing it and not someone else. I had to ignore all of the noise and be true to myself, and the rest would work itself out. So throughout this journey, I have learned to block everything out and focus on my truth. I had to answer some basic questions for myself. Who am I? No, really, who am I? What do I care about? And at the end of the day, By staying true to the me I've always known, I found that this journey has been incredibly freeing. Because no matter what happened, I had the peace of mind of knowing that all of the chatter, the name calling, the doubting, all of it was just noise. It did not define me. It didn't change who I was. And most importantly, it couldn't hold me back. I have learned that as long as I hold fast to my beliefs and values and follow my own moral compass, then the only expectations I need to live up to are my own. It can feel isolating. It can make you feel like your life somehow doesn't matter, that you're like the invisible man that Tuskegee grad Ralph Ellison wrote about all those years ago. And as we've seen over the past few years, those feelings are real. They're rooted in decades of structural challenges that have made too many folks feel frustrated and invisible. And if you rise above the noise and the pressures that surround you, if you stay true to who you are and where you come from, if you have faith in God's plan for you, then you will keep fulfilling your duty to the people all across this country. And you don't have to be President of the United States to start addressing things like poverty and education and lack of opportunity. Because when you've worked hard and done well, as I said, the least you can do is reach back and give a hand to somebody else who could use that help. Print for how we can win. It teaches us that when we pull ourselves out of the lowest emotional depths and we channel our frustrations into studying and organizing and banding together, then we can build ourselves and our communities up. We can take on those deep-rooted problems, and together, we can overcome anything that stands in our way. I was able to develop an entirely new set of skills that I would use for the rest of my life. Skills like resilience, problem solving, time management. I learned to turn stumbles and missteps into sources of motivation. A week with 3 tests and 2 papers wasn't a reason to stress out, but a reason to plan. A negative comment from a professor in class wasn't a reason to shut down, but a reason to ask even more questions. Most importantly, I realized that what really mattered wasn't how much money my parents made or what those people in my high school said about me. What mattered was what was in my mind and what was in my heart. You can't stop serving once you leave here. Whether you've worn our country's uniform or not, we're all called to serve and to give back to those around us. And you don't have to travel across the globe or even across the country to find ways to serve. All you have to do is take a look around your own community. Are there kids in your neighborhood who could use a mentor? Can you volunteer with an organization that serves military families? Can you pick up a few extra cans of vegetables and donate them to a food bank? I mean, these things may seem so small, but they really make a difference. Never lose sight of what brought you to this day. Those values that you came here with, and those skills and talents you developed while you were here. Because when you pair those 2 things together, you will be prepared for whatever comes next. You can go anywhere you choose. So be proud and never, ever doubt yourselves. Walk boldly on that road ahead, no matter where it takes you. You will feel the bumps smooth off. You'll take part in that never-failing miracle of progress. And you'll be flying through the air, out of this world, free.